The electrolyte drink market is worth around $40 billion and growing, but most people couldn't even tell you what's in these drinks and whether they actually need them. On this episode of the Lovers Chat, we'll be diving into all things electrolytes, our favoured ones that we don't like, and whether you need them at all.
This is a disclaimer that this is not medical advice, and a lot of the stuff we're talking about is very generic and should be taken with a lot of caution.
Had a perfect opportunity to say it with a pinch of salt.
Oh, right. Should be taken with a pinch of salt. Hello, munchkins, and welcome to the Lovers Chat podcast. You're here with Agnesa.
Got your own name for a second. And Arena. This is episode, I want to say 27.
I want to say that too.
Shall we say it then?
Episode 27.
Do you actually need electrolytes? Anyways, for our trusted electrolytes today, we're going in with Tenzing. Shockingly, you may find the can is not pink, as it has been for the last 3 months. Not 3 months. But
the raspberry one slaps.
Yeah, I quite like this one.
I like this one too. There's two of these though.
I think they were the old ones.
Maybe.
I do believe.
First time we tried it was something.
The first time we tried pineapple and passion fruit, what colour can was it?
I think it was like either yellow or orange. It was slightly different.
Yeah. And
should I look it up?
We did not like it. But the green one actually slaps. And it's caffeinated. Who doesn't like that?
Oh, this one, it was orange, pineapple and passion fruit.
Yeah, but it's the same. I think they just changed. Maybe the recipe changed. I don't know.
Let's give this one. Oh, what is this?
That's interesting.
That looks fake. I don't think they've come up with that.
Putting a straw in your energy drink when it's crisp cold not intensifies the flavour, but makes the flavour 20 times better. It's the experience.
I experienced it by drinking from the can.
Okay.
I mean, when did we notice electrolytes first becoming more popular, do you think?
Oh, that's a good question. I want to say very recently, actually.
Yeah, even within the past
year.
Obviously, it's been around longer.
No, you know what? I do think it's been the last year or two that I've seen a lot more people at least become a lot more aware of electrolytes and athletes needing electrolytes.
Yes, but also now that I'm thinking about it, because we have known that doing gymnastics, but I think it's because we've been so exposed to people on social media who are actively promoting it and influencing it.
Yeah.
That it's whoa, they're everywhere now.
But that is what it means to become popular.
Yeah, but
popular. You're gonna be popular.
I didn't really enjoy that musical.
No, neither.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we had Lucasades at trainings, and I think that was the only electrolyte.
The high five ones, I remember.
Yeah, but they weren't really.
I don't really know what electrolytes were.
Yeah.
So we were just
the function of them.
Yeah, our parents would just be oh, take these.
I mean, if you're a high-level athlete, endurance athlete, obviously you're going to know what electrolytes are. Because I really hope that your coach also knows what they are. But as for gaining popularity, I would say in the past year or two within the gym space, because I don't think, general fitness-wise, I don't think many people are aware of exactly what electrolytes are. And I still don't think, I think people just buy it because they're marketed as essential, but why?
It's the same as all this high protein stuff. It's just marketed as being high protein.
Yeah,
in a way. But that's another discussion. But yeah, but personally, we've noticed increase specifically in the past year or so.
Yeah.
Do you think that the rise in electrolytes is part of the optimization culture?
I don't think it started off as that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just something that brands were doing because obviously, as we go on to talk about this, you need electrolytes, especially if you are active. But I think there has been a turn towards like optimizing, a lot of like science-based gym bros. Yeah, the trends are going to that more so, as opposed to in the past, like even looking at bodybuilders, I feel like that's the main like gym culture where bodybuilders would like raw dog it in basement gyms, and now it's like high tech, high equipment. Everything is so like to the point and nitpicky that it is trying to be as optimized as possible. When you don't need that unless you are top of the top, extreme high level competitor, and you've only got like a certain thing that you need to tweak.
What do you think about like fitness content promoting electrolytes?
I think it's a good thing, but I think they're more so promoting for the sake of the flavors and for their gain a lot of the time. That they're not actually educating people on what electrolytes are. They just say you need it for hydration.
Yeah, but like, what is hydration? Because I feel like we'll go on to that later. But
yeah. I think that's the same with a lot of. That's one of the issues with fitness influencers, is that when they promote things, it's one, for their gain, and two, it's not very educating for the audience. They'll just say a couple of buzzwords in hopes that people understand that like electrolytes is hydration, protein is for building lean muscle, and high protein diet. Creatine, I feel like influencers speak the most about.
yeah, like
Because of the amount of myths around it. So I feel like creatine is the most is the most talked about supplement.
Interesting.
And then there's like BCAAs, EAAs that people just pour into their drinks, spin it around with a straw, drink it, and be like, yeah, it tastes like a pina colada, and then move on with their day.
That's fair, because like even I'm thinking now, I used to take EAAs, I had no idea what they were. Like I know they weren't necessarily harming me. Or a lot of this stuff, like even we'll get onto this later, but yeah, like I was taking EAAs just because it made my drink taste nicer. Not really knowing what was in it, the benefits of it, why I even need them, if I even need them, and stuff. So
yeah, let us know if you want us to do a supplements episode where we actually do educate you.
And we will do that regardless of whether you want it or not.
Because I do think it's important, because the flavor's nice, but it might not necessarily be giving you any added benefits to the extent that it actually benefits you.
Yeah. Okay. Essentially, what are electrolytes?
Just say any word.
They're basically things that help your body function. So a simple way to think about it is water hydrates you, but electrolytes actually help your body use that water properly. And so this is really important for things like hydration, muscle function, and communication between your brain and your body. So that includes things like electrical signals that are generated in nerve cells.
Yeah.
So to go a little bit deeper into more of a scientific, what's the word? Analysis. Essentially what they are electrolytes are minerals that become electrically charged when they're dissolved in bodily fluids. So that's like blood, sweat, or urine. And as I mentioned before, they're essential for the body's most basic functions to keep everything like running smoothly. So muscle movement allows your body to just function well. Specifically, what roles do they play in the body? Well, they help regulate fluid balance. So obviously when you sweat a lot, you're losing a lot of water out of your cells, and electrolytes basically help regulate the movement of water in and out of cells, to help prevent things like dehydration and excess fluid in cells. They also help with nerve signaling. As I mentioned before, they help transmit electrical impulses, and this is really important between the body and the brain, how they interact and work together to control muscle contraction, heart rate, heartbeat, and reflexes. And lastly, it helps maintain pH stability. pH is, simply put,
are you acidic or not?
are you acidic or it's the scale of acidity. And so electrolytes basically help keep your blood's acidity within a healthy range, which is necessary for enzyme functions and organ function.
So what I'm going to talk about is the 6 core electrolytes. I am 99% sure there are more, but these are the core ones.
Yeah.
Thanks. So you've got sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, and phosphate. For each of these, I'm just going to talk about what that specific electrolyte does and its primary function, daily references for an adult, and then also what food sources you can find them in on a day-to-day basis. Okie dokie, let's start with sodium, shall we? A lot of you people will... A lot of you people will know sodium as salt.
Sorry, I thought that was a really good one. Did you just get it? Oh, hell no. Now I look like a fool.
Do you guys get it? Because it took me quite some time. Sodium is the most abundant electrolyte outside the body's cells. And what it's crucial for is maintaining fluid balance and your blood pressure. It also plays a role in nerve impulse transmission and muscle contraction, like Agnes has so thoroughly explained to us, including your heart's rhythm. It helps with regulating the water movement and also the transport of nutrients like amino acids and glucose into your cells. I think a lot of the time, for example, when you have a lot of sodium the night before, you wake up puffy, and that's because sodium helps retain water in your system, hence why you feel puffy when you wake up. The daily recommended electrolyte intake for an average person, that is not if you do high intensity exercise, so please be aware, if you are sweating lots, you're going to need to up your electrolyte intake a bit more. But for sodium, for men, it's 1,500 milligrams, and for women, it's 2,600 milligrams of sodium per day, average. So the top 5 sources of food to get your sodium in outside of electrolytes is table salt. So salt has roughly 390 milligrams per gram of sodium. Pickles usually have around 390 milligrams per pickle. Clams, shellfish, around 190 milligrams per 100 grams. Cheese has around 620 milligrams per 100 grams. This does vary by types of cheese. For example, halloumi is a lot saltier than, say, something like brie. And also processed and frozen fruits tend to have a lot of sodium added into them. So beware of that. That's also why you retain a lot of water after eating junk food. Quick FYI. So the second is potassium. I like to think of potassium as sodium's opposite, because it helps flush excess water out of your system. So yeah, it works alongside sodium for fluid balance and your nerve function. Again, also involved in nerve impulse transmission, muscle contraction, and also maintaining a regular heartbeat. And like I mentioned, an adequate potassium intake can help offset the effects of sodium on your blood pressure. So if you're overeating in sodium, a quick fix, not medical advice, but in theory, increasing your potassium intake can help offset some of the effects of sodium in very cautious terms. The recommended daily intake for potassium is around 3,000. Is it just me or I can't speak today?
It's just you.
3,400 milligrams for men, and again 2,600 milligrams for women. The top 5 potassium containing foods are bananas that have 358 milligrams per a medium banana, leafy greens around 909 milligrams per a cooked cup, so around 144 grams. Cooked salmon has around 414 milligrams per 100 grams. Avocado usually has around 487 milligrams per whole avocado, and a medium potato with skin has around 544 milligrams. The next one we'll be talking about is magnesium, which has a primary function of enabling muscles to relax after contraction, and this is the most commonly misused. Magnesium also helps with sleep quality. I found a lot of people say take magnesium before you go to sleep because it helps muscles to relax, I'm assuming. Helps your body to fully relax for you to sleep. Magnesium is also involved in energy production and plays a role in bone formation, influencing all the activities of cells that build and break down bone. Now, the daily recommended intake for magnesium is around 400 to 420 milligrams for men and 310 to 320 milligrams for women. Where you can find magnesium is in spinach, which has 158 milligrams per full cup, which is around 180 grams. Pumpkin seeds, which have around 168 milligrams per 28 grams of pumpkin seeds. Almonds and cashews, 83 milligrams per a 28 gram serving. Lima beans, which have around 63 milligrams per half a cup. And cooked salmon, which has around 30 milligrams per 100 grams of serving. The next is calcium. Its primary function is actually to help muscle fibers to contract. It does help maintain strong bones and teeth, as 99% of your body's calcium resides there in your bones. It also helps with blood clotting so you don't bleed out.
Bro, what is this information?
Now the daily calcium intake is around 1,000 milligrams. I'm so sweaty.
In case you were wondering.
What?
It also helps your bones and so you don't bleed out. I'm going insane.
Oh. So the recommended daily amount for calcium,
so that you don't bleed out,
is 1,000 milligrams for most adults. sometimes increasing to about 1,200 for women over 50 and men over 70. So guys, if you're planning on getting injured, up your calcium intake the night before. Follow for more advice.
Mind you, it's like 35 degrees. So kind of
we're losing
drinking our electrolytes.
So where can you find calcium? Calcium is found in milk, which has around 300 milligrams per 240 mils. Cheddar cheese, which has around
Cheddar cheese.
cheddar cheese, which has around, I've lost my place, 200 milligrams per 30 gram serving. Yogurt, which has around 300 milligrams per cup of yogurt.
I just read this and they say they get their electrolytes from Himalayan salt, and I can just imagine you licking a Himalayan salt lump.
Yogurt, which has around 300 milligrams per cup, which is around 245 grams. Cooked spinach. Spinach is really coming in strong with all of these electrolytes. 245 milligrams per cup, which is around 180 grams. And sardines with bones.
I love those.
Which comes into around 320 milligrams per 100 grams. So far, seafood and spinach are really coming in strong with the electrolytes. We've got 2 more to go.
My God, this is so long. Get on with it. We're bored.
The next is chloride. It's the second most abundant ion in the body. Yeah, and it's primarily found in extracellular fluid alongside sodium, helping maintain proper fluid balance and blood volume, and ensuring that cells do not become too dehydrated or too swollen. It's an important component of stomach acid, aiding in digestion and preventing the growth of unwanted microbes. Now, the daily recommended amount for chloride is 2,300 milligrams for adults under 50.
I was thinking about when you said you're planning on getting injured. Sorry, that's not funny. Injuries are no joke.
No, neither's bleeding out.
Right.
So where can you find chloride other than your stomach?
Was this a question for me?
No.
Oh.
It was a rhetorical question. Table salt, again, about 60% of salt is chloride. Seaweed, olives, tomatoes, celery. My research has not given me any specific numbers, so you're just getting the top 5 foods with chloride. Finally, I know this has been a long one, guys, phosphate. And this helps with energy production and bone structure. Also, an important building block for substances like DNA, RNA, cell membranes, and it's involved in energy production and also helps the body's pH balance. So the recommended daily amount for phosphate is around 700 milligrams, and where you can find it is in salmon, again, 428 milligrams per 170 gram serving, chicken breast, 394 milligrams per 170 serving, 90% lean ground beef, so 344 milligrams serving, 344 milligrams per 170 gram serving, yogurt, 325 milligrams per cup, and kidney beans, 230 milligrams per cup. So if you want to take from this the foods that you should be eating: salmon, leafy greens, yogurt, and salt.
Yes.
if you want to hit majority of electrolytes.
This is if you are like losing a lot of electrolytes.
No, this is just daily intake.
No, I know, but like people are going to start eating table salt.
I don't think that many people listen to our podcast.
Okay.
We're not starting a salt epidemic here. I'm just going to say a couple signs of recognizing imbalance of electrolytes.
Okay.
Just so if you guys are unsure if you're having too little or too much. Common signs of an electrolyte imbalance include muscle weakness or any cramping, persistent fatigue or lethargy, changes in your heart rhythm, such as irregular heartbeats or any palpitations, and any neurological conditions such as confusion, dizziness, heartaches, headaches, mood changes such as irritability. Of course, these can be subject to other issues, but if you have noticed that you've either been going ham with your electrolyte intake or haven't been doing it at all, maybe consider those as indicators. And instead of going something more drastic, maybe try adjusting your electrolyte intake first. This is not medical advice. Please.
Yeah, none of this is medical advice. Just
please don't sue us.
Information we've found.
Yes.
How does exercise affect your electrolyte levels? The main electrolytes affected by exercise are sodium and potassium, which, in case you forgot, Arena talked about, so rewind. So they're the ones that are most significantly affected by physical activity, and you lose both of them through sweat. So obviously, if you just had a vigorous workout and you've sweated loads, your body needs to replenish these electrolytes to maintain hydration and normal bodily function. Sweat-related sodium loss varies a lot between individuals. Roughly, research estimates that around 0.5 to 6.7 grams of sodium loss per hour, depending on exercise intensity, heat, and an individual's sweat composition. So that is a wide range. So the individual variation is the reason why electrolytes are not a one-size-fits-all, and why you shouldn't take this as medical advice, and you should actually just adjust everything for yourself.
Yeah, like all of these are recommended amounts based on an average person.
Yeah.
And no one is ever truly average.
Oh, damn. It's getting philosophical now.
Because, yeah.
Yeah.
So just adjust these to how you've noticed your body reacts. If you are a sweater, increase your electrolyte intake a bit more than if you don't sweat as much as you think you should.
Yeah.
Again, sweating is influenced by so many other factors.
Yeah. It also depends on things like your environment. Are you in a humid environment? Is the temperature of your environment colder? Are you working out in an air-conditioned gym? Like stuff like that. It all varies. So it's really not a one-size-fits-all. So do with that what you will. Now we can talk a bit about what is meant by isotonic, what's meant by hypertonic, and what's meant by hypotonic.
And these are drinks.
Yes. So if we're putting them in the context of drinks.
Because until we did research for this episode, I've never realised, but now I'm noticing, there are some sports drinks that say like isotonic on them, and I didn't have a clue of what that meant. So Agnesa is here to tell you all about it.
So yeah, a lot of people actually just buy electrolyte drinks with these labels, not really knowing what they mean. And that's fair enough, because yeah, like Irina mentioned, until we did research into this, I would not really consider it. Like I might just see isotonic and be like, great. Isotonic drinks, for example, and these are usually the most common ones that are out there. And what they are is isotonic drinks are drinks that closely match the body's own fluid concentration. So they're known to provide the most efficient fluid delivery during exercise. It's most often used because it's absorbed efficiently and replaces both water and electrolytes in the body. And this is good for like your very common types of activities like running, obviously like average 5K, running, football, gym sessions, most exercise basically. So if you're doing a workout, sweating, and you want to rehydrate afterwards, an isotonic drink is generally good. A hypertonic drink, think about things like hyperactive, more than. So this is what's considered like a strong drink. So a hypertonic drink typically contains more electrolytes and other like dissolved substances than your body's fluid. So basically what you're doing is you're getting a bigger dose of electrolytes, and especially sodium because that's a core electrolyte. And this is really good for heavier intensity exercise. So running marathons, training in really hot weather, you're sweating loads. Also when you're fasting or if you're on a keto diet, because
although a lot of electrolytes come from things that are keto friendly.
yes, but
But I guess because when you're on a keto diet, you don't have carbs, and carbs hold on to water, so your body will be flushing your electrolytes out at a quicker rate. So yeah, that makes sense. Apologies for my intrusion.
Yeah, so because things like fasting and keto, you're low carbs, and when you eat carbs, basically your body stores some of them as glycogen, and glycogen holds on to water. So as Arena mentioned, so put simply, your glycogen stores are depleted. So water that is attached to glycogen is released. So you urinate more. And along with the water that you lose other electrolytes faster. So hypotonic is, as you can guess, the opposite to hypertonic. Hypotonic contains fewer dissolved substances than your own body's fluids. And because it's so much less concentrated with electrolytes, your body can absorb it very quickly. And so this is why it's good for like light exercise, brisk walks, hot days, and just everyday hydration. The slight downside is obviously that you don't get as much electrolytes or as much energy.
So we've tried quite a big range of electrolytes. Shout out to Andre from our gym who supplies them to us. And he's given us a few to try. I'll say what flavours each one has. So you know their electrolyte intake, what we think they taste like, if they're worth it. I'll put everything up on the screen. I'll link everyone down below as well if you guys are interested. Again, this part is very subjective to our taste. We also have a preferred taste, and then we'll go into our favourite ones. But we'll say our top three, I think. Top three would be good. Okay, so starting off with Humantra. The one thing that, shout out Andre again, did say is that their sodium levels are actually lower, so that you are able to take more than 1 or 2 a day, and so that they don't taste as salty. So Humantra has a new flavour, which is pineapple, black cherry, lychee, Himalayan lime, mango, berry pomegranate, elderberry, and apricot. I believe we've tried the lychee, berry pomegranate, elderberry, and apricot. Favourite one out of those is elderberry for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I like the lychee one.
The lychee one was nice.
Or the berry one.
Did you like the berry one? Berry one was my least favourite, I think.
Oh.
I'd say elderberry and lychee. Pineapple and black cherry would slap, just because I like those flavours in general, and mango.
See, if they're not if they're not concentrated enough, it would not be to my taste. Also, sorry, we're on 120 subs.
Oh wait, guys, thank you so much for 120 subs, just been updated. Yes. They're actually, Humantra's plant-based as well, which if that is of importance to you, or if you are vegan, vegetarian, this is a brand that is suitable for your needs. The nutritional information, I'm just going to go off a random one. They are going to vary slightly per flavour, but I'm not about to sit here and bore you with the details. If you're interested in Humantra, go and do the research yourself. Sorry, not sorry.
Or just have a conversation with Arena in your own time.
So their sodium is 231 milligrams, potassium is 178 milligrams, chloride 357 milligrams, calcium 46, phosphorus 39, and magnesium 26 milligrams. They also have zinc, chromium, vitamin C, and vitamin B12 per sachet. Again, all of this will go here, I think, just so it's more visually understood. What would you rate Humantra in general? Let's do Humantra in general.
Yeah, I actually quite like them. Yeah. I think probably one of the best ones I've had, so I'm gonna give them a solid 7.
I'd say, 7.2 out of 10. Solid ones, not salty. If you are opposed to salty tastes, then I would go towards Humantra. The second one is salty, PureSport. I personally really like these because of the saltiness. I do like the saltiness. We've tried the watermelon salt, citrus, and raspberry one. I believe they've come out with a new orange lemonade, which kind of sounds like it'd slap. Right? But I believe they're all the flavours that they have at the moment. I would rank the watermelon salt one as the best one. It might actually be my favourite electrolyte that I've tried to date. The raspberry salt and the citrus salt are a tad on the salty side, and that's coming from a salt addict. So
if you want
a kick,
if you want a normal person's opinion, the raspberry salt ones were way too salty, but the citrus ones, the citrus tastes counteracted the saltiness, and I actually quite liked them. So especially when you need like a bit of a kick, I'd go for the
the watermelon salt one's really nice because it's not too salty and it's very refreshing. I forgot that we also tried LMNT, so we're gonna it was the other watermelon one that Andre gave us. We got Humantra, PureSport, LMNT to try, and then I actually went out and bought PureSport by myself and Humantra by myself because we liked them so much in comparison to other electrolytes that we've tried. So regarding the what is it called? Not continents. Contents. Regarding the contents, PureSport has, this is why it's so salty, 1,000 milligrams of sodium per sachet in comparison to Humantra, which has 280 something.
That's crazy.
So triple the sodium, hence triple the saltiness. Potassium, 250 milligrams, magnesium, 100 milligrams, and tricalcium citrate, 50 milligrams. Again, we'll put them up all on the screen. I think we've done our rating, but we've not done a numerical rating. So what would we go for PureSport in general?
5.
I'd give them a 7.8. I'd rank them higher than Humantra because I personally like more salty things. Again, this is subjective to taste. As you can tell, we have different ratings of them. Then we're going to go on to LMNT. Pretty sure it's meant to be pronounced element. They've got quite a lot of flavors. We've only tried the watermelon salt one. So they've got lemonade iced tea, citrus salt, raspberry salt, watermelon salt, lemonade salt. Do you remember what it tasted? Very similar to PureSport, in regards to just the flavor and the saltiness as well.
I can't really say that I remember.
Fair enough.
So I think I might pass on my rating for this one.
Again, I'd say around a 7.8, purely based off the one flavor that we've tried, which was, well, watermelon salt I'd rank as like a 9 out of 10, in my opinion. I really liked it. It's my favorite electrolyte. And because LMNT is the only one that I've tried, the rating is skewed to the higher end. So just be cautious of that. All that I found is 1,000 milligrams of sodium, again, 200 milligrams of potassium and 60 grams of magnesium. So if you are looking for a more overall electrolyte containing sachet, lean more towards PureSport because it just has a higher concentration of different electrolytes that I've found so far. Now, entry-level electrolytes is what I like to call them, is the high five ones. Usually come in tubes. We've tried the sachets as well, the citrus sachets that come with 5 grams of creatine. Really good for traveling.
Those were good.
They were good, and they're really good for traveling just because you get electrolytes, creatine in one. No mess, you don't have to bring a tub of creatine, which is what I usually do on holiday. And then electrolytes on the side. So you've got their electrolyte tablets. They've got loads of flavors: citrus, mango, blackcurrant, strawberry, kiwi, berry, tropical, orange and cherry, pink grapefruit, neutral. My personal favorite, pink grapefruit ones out of all of those. Have tried the mango, wasn't the biggest fan of mango. Citrus ones are quite nice. Berry ones are quite nice. Tropical, similar to mango. I think I just got trauma from them because I used to chug them with a scoop of creatine at 4:30 in the morning before my training. So you know when you associate a taste with an experience, it's just not it. So I take that with a pinch of salt.
I like. Which one was the one with the mixed in creatine?
That was the citrus one.
That one was good. Yeah, grapefruit ones. I quite like the tropical one. I'm not the biggest fan of the mango one. I find mango is really a hit or miss in the flavors. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that.
So pink grapefruit, berry was good as well. So for nutrition, sodium is 250 milligrams, calcium 9 milligrams, potassium 70 milligrams, magnesium 56 milligrams. And then they also have vitamin C, so not the most intense electrolyte contents. That's why we say entry-level electrolytes, because also they're found everywhere. You can find them in any supermarket, and they're very easily transportable. They just come in tubs. What would you rate it out of 10?
A 6.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
like a good yeah.
Decent.
You know what? I agree. Maybe like a 5.7 just because of the amount of electrolytes they contain, but flavor-wise, they're nice, they're refreshing. You've got a wide range of flavors as well. Moving on to bulk. Shout out to Ed, Kelly Link Up, but I'm sorry, we just can't.
I can't drink those electrolytes. The bars are good. Electrolytes need to do better.
But even the bars, like,
no, I quite like the bars, but I'm kind of off my protein bars now. But the electrolytes do not. They're so difficult to drink.
Yeah, sorry, Ed. I'm trying to find their flavors. They've got blackcurrant, they've got orange. I think that's all they have in terms of flavors.
Blackcurrant is better than orange by far.
They're also fizzy, which I find strange. And they come, don't be concerned, they're not a powder, they're like little tablets. that pour in. What were you going to say?
No, yeah.
In regards to their nutrition, sodium is 352, so higher than Humantra and High Five. Potassium 300, calcium 121, and magnesium is 112. So regarding electrolyte content, it's actually quite good. The flavour, however, is not.
It's like, I'll drink it for the electrolytes, but if I was to choose one to actually enjoy my drink, I'd opt for something else.
It's just chemicalized, in my opinion. It tastes very chemically.
There's no taste. Like, it doesn't taste like, I don't know. It's just so difficult to drink.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, not my
fave.
We
do sincerely apologise, because whenever something doesn't taste good and it's free, I just feel so bad. But I actually can't do anything about that. Then we've got liquid IV. Now, Agnes has tried more of these than I have. I've only tried the liquid IV mango ones, which I didn't hate. I'd rate them. Oh, we didn't rate bulk. 3.
2.
Liquid IV, the one that I tried was 0 sugar, mango. I'd rate that a 6. And I picked it up in Tesco. So liquid IV I found are very available across supermarkets as well. Tesco's, Sainsbury's, obviously not Aldi and Lidl. They're the only supermarkets we go to, so I can vouch for anything else.
I tried the
tried like cotton candy. Basically,
those were from America. Ooh, would highly not recommend those. They were also not 0 sugar. Yeah, no, would steer clear from but that's not the same brand.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
I'd steer clear from any cotton candy flavour, rocket flavour. That's not it. It's not. Sorry. I tried one, however. I think it was tropical. In a couple weeks ago. That was decent. It was decent. I think it was 0 sugar though. Yeah, not my favourite.
Yeah, I'd say it's a 5 or 6. It's not at the top. Then moving on to applied nutrition. I've only tried the strawberry raspberry one, but they also have blue raspberry, tropical vibes, and lemon and lime. Their intakes are sodium is per 8 grams. Sodium is 153 milligrams, potassium 403 milligrams, chloride 120, calcium 380, and magnesium 133. Not the worst flavour, actually. I didn't hate it. Probably on par with liquid IV, so around a 5 or a 6. Again, average, nothing special, not very memorable. Sorry, we're trying to whiz past these because we are aware of how long this has taken.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a short episode, but I'm actually falling.
Same.
Like, I'm struggling to.
Then Vita Coco. The only electrolyte it does contain is potassium, I believe.
It has a lot of potassium, yeah.
It has very high potassium. I want to try and see. Yeah, so per 100 millilitres is 188 milligrams of potassium. It also has vitamin C. Coconut water slaps. Honestly, really can't go wrong, but make sure that you are taking sodium as well if you're sweating a lot, because the potassium will just drain the fluid out of you.
I do like some coconut water.
Yeah.
I've got some in the fridge. I'll have some after.
You've tried the Buzz Energy one?
Yes, I actually just had the Buzz Energy one.
It's just honey and salt and potassium.
And honestly, it was really good. I would say it is pure honey, so it's obviously really sweet.
I really like sweet stuff. So
I would say that if I'm on a run, like we did our 10K the other day, I picked up an energy gel because I was getting a bit tired. I almost threw that up as I was having it. I could not stomach that. When you're sweaty and like already nauseous, adding like some like weird jelly concoction, no. But yeah, the Buzz Energy one, honestly, honey and salt, like, it's good. It's really sweet, but
yeah,
I wouldn't have it all in
it
one
as well.
go.
Yeah, I tried a bit of it and it was really nice. I mean, you really can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And finally, Tenzing. It has, I can read it straight off the can. It's got caffeine in it as well. Vitamin C, 16 milligrams of vitamin C, 165 milligrams of electrolytes from Himalayan rock salt. So I'm assuming that is sodium. Yeah, it's only got sodium. It doesn't have any other added electrolytes, but it has caffeine.
The Tenzing's mango, fiery mango,
Yes,
banging.
really good.
Honey and peach.
That one's really nice.
Raspberries up there. Not my fave.
No, it's honey melon. Is it not?
I don't remember that.
Oh,
that one, the honey one.
Yes.
I
really like the pineapple and passion fruit one.
Yeah, I like the raspberry one. The raspberry one's a good staple because they basically have it everywhere.
Yeah.
But the best ones, my favorite is fiery mango. Cannot get enough of that.
I would steer clear from the original one though.
Oh, and I'd steer clear from the, what was it, the sea berry one, apple and sea berry.
I didn't hate that one. It does taste.
I had it in the gym. I thought I was drinking a beer.
Yeah, I was gonna say it tastes fermented.
It tastes like beer.
But yeah, in terms of electrolytes, my favourite ones are PureSport and Humantra.
Humantra, yeah, I'd agree. Well, I'm a big fan of coconut water, so I have that mostly.
Yeah, coconut water is a staple, but again, it's not giving you the other 5 electrolytes. So if that's something that's missing from your diet, then make sure that you do get those somewhere else. To close off, Agnes is going to walk us through whether we actually need them or not, and our last recommendations.
So, do you actually need electrolytes? If you're, for the average person who goes to the gym, and if you're eating a well-balanced diet containing the foods, the electrolyte containing foods, strictly speaking, you don't really need them. You should get them more than enough from your diet. That said, if you're sweating a lot, doing high intensity exercise, obviously it's good to replenish. So yeah, experts recommend that all you focus on is having enough water and also carbohydrates. So if you're thinking of having a sports drink, that's a good idea, but sports drinks are really good mostly for their carbohydrate intake rather than electrolyte levels. So bear that in mind. So electrolytes are not really necessary. However, if you like the taste and you enjoy drinking them, it's not going to harm you. It might help you. It has been found to increase thirst a little bit, or it could. So that might help you get your water in anyways, and that would be helpful. So there's not really a downside to having,
overuse of electrolytes is never good.
Don't overuse them, but if you're like, want to add a sachet into your water, like, it's not going to do you harm. So, but don't expect magic results with doing that.
You can get most of it through eating a whole foods diet.
Yeah. So I wouldn't buy into all these like wellness trends unless, like I said, you enjoy the flavor or you are doing high intensity exercise. To be fair, when I think about it, a lot of Cali athletes and like people we interact with do a lot of high intensity exercise, so it would make sense why they're having electrolytes. But if you go to the gym casually or you're just going to work and stuff, you don't necessarily need them too much.
Again, although these companies are trying to make an impact and help you with sport, their primary goal is to make money. Hence, they will be pushing anything on you, marketing it as fueling your hydration or high protein. So just be wary. You don't actually need it. if you eat a whole foods diet and you monitor everything correctly, you'll be okay. If your diet is poor, or you're fasting, keto, like you're not getting a primary group of macronutrients or micronutrients, then yeah, electrolytes are a good supplement to take. But just be wary of what you are intaking.
I think it's also important to add that I would think this is being, like, I would think that people would know about this, but maybe not. But as we know, especially in a Western diet already, sodium intake is really high.
Yeah.
So
it's in the processed foods everywhere.
Bear that in mind. Excess sodium is generally linked to increased blood pressure and cardiovascular risk. So I'd be cautious if you're at risk for cardiovascular disease, or generally in your family you have higher blood pressure. Be wary of it. Obviously, consuming a lot of salt and sodium is not good for you. Again, it's about knowing your individual needs for these certain electrolytes and adjusting accordingly.
Okay, I think that is all. Very sorry, we thought this would be a short one. You know what, I think there's so much waffling and so many retries that it will be cut a lot shorter.
Also, I was mostly
the ratings.
And science based. So if you wanted to,
we hope that this has been helpful in any way, shape, or form. If you have anything that you'd like us to cover, whether that is, nutrition in general, supplements, or go back to talking about our experiences, please let us know. But we hope that you enjoyed, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Bye, Munchkins.